that was, it's not complete if you don't talk about the picture outside the pitch, what happened outside the pitch, and the objectives of the tournament. Remember, Kenya is just coming out of that situation of coming to terms with being out of the World Series, so low on confidence. But the Sevens has not been played. Last year had no sponsors. This year, a bit of sponsorship. It's looking attractive. The fans came out, and it's positive for Kenyan rugby. If you see, you know, the final when we beat Samurai, the rugby displayed is good rugby, and there's hope that we're going to build into a much stronger side. And this also showcases our ability. Remember, the Kenya Rugby Union is ambitious. They're trying to hold. They're hoping to have one of the series events held here in 2025.
Well, I can tell you for sure that the team for the Sevens, for Dubai Sevens, is already in camp tonight, actually. And we'll be speaking to one of the men who was there. In fact, we've got him online, and the team manager is there as well. We'll put him through to find out exactly what his feelings are of this. Steve Sewe, very nice of you to join us. You were obviously on the pitch. What did you make of the competition standards of the Safari Sevens?
One of the things that we were concerned about was the weather. I remember when the schedule of the tournament had been put out, and the chairman was very categorical about the tournament happened since we had missed it as a result of COVID. And so the conditions were slightly dire, and of course because of the rains and the facilities that we have in the country right now, they hinder top performance of the players, because if you don't have good facilities to be able to showcase players at their optimum level, it becomes a challenge. But that is one of the things that I'm sure KRU is trying to push for us to be able to have successful games here, host matches of international standards, and also to be able to attract, you know, big teams in the world. To be able
yes,
to come
actually talking about attracting the big teams in the world, and this used to happen. You used to attract teams from Fiji, from down in Australia, South Africa. The box would have emerging box as well. What would you make of the standards of the competition today? Yes, we know the pitch was working against the Kenyan team. You could see it. But what about the standard of the game itself? What's your comment on that?
We had some pretty decent competitive teams that came over for Safari Sevens. Remember that Samurai, the team that we played in the finals, was consisting of 7 different nationalities of the world's teams in South Africa and other places where they managed to collect the players. And the other teams, of course, Kenya Shujaa is looking at strong opponents, because for us to be able to go into the World Series, we are going to meet the teams like the Fijis, England, and New Zealand. Argentina has been looking pretty good in this last season. And these teams, for us to be able to play against them, we need to have some strong competition in our tournaments. I wouldn't say that Safari Sevens had the top teams, but that is what we are working towards. Remember, kickstarting the Safari Sevens for this year, 2023, came with so many challenges. But we were able to host a successful tournament. Kenya Shujaa was able to showcase its strengths, the quality of play, for Kenyans to be able to witness it just here at home and not on TV.
Now, tell me something about the students in the team as well. Now, Patrick Odongo of Daystar University was the man of the match with the 2 tries there. We are seeing, a new trait where youngsters and university students and sometimes even secondary school students are now being incorporated into the team. How is this helping the team?
Yeah. We as a management are trying to open the game to everybody. There are so many young talented players and not just in the known clubs that we know, the Kenya Harlequins, the Mwambas, the Cabrases, but we are going also into universities, DASTA, because the local universities, because we know that there are quite some talented players who are playing in those clubs, Patrick Odongo being one of them. And the average age of the national sevens teams is right now at 23, 24, which means that we have quite some time with these players, and we want to expose them as much as possible. At that age, and for players who are also in the small teams, in quotes, it encourages even the other players who are looking up to playing at elite level, which is the national team here in Kenya. And so they are getting encouragement from these other players, the Patrick Odongos, the Brian Mutugis. We have quite a number of students. Actually, 70% of these players in the national team are students. So that's also one of the challenges that we usually have, because they are facing the commitments between club and other things that they're doing, be it work, be it school, be it family. It raises a challenge for the national team, but we are managing it and moving forward.
Yeah, exams must be done. Steve, stay with us, because we are going to talk on the main segment about now what is going to happen. I know you are in camp at the moment, but I'm sure they will just excuse you for today only to talk to us. We'll talk about what the plan is for the future now that you're in camp for the Dubai Sevens. So Steve Sewe, the team manager, is here with us. He will talk to us later on about what's going on in the camp for the Kenya Sevens team. Let's talk about the World Cup qualifiers. There were a couple of matches that were played with very interesting results, very diverse as well. We got a couple of them to just look at, including Comoros beating Ghana